You've got mail, I've got answers. It's time for the OutKick Daily Mailbag. Anonymous writes, can you comment on what you'd do if you were in a state like Maryland, which has not educated a single kid in any meaningful way since prior to March 2020, and is now floating the idea that they will not return to school until at least January 2022? The lack of education in Maryland is destroying lives and much more. What would you do? Move to a state providing in-person education, keep fighting, mass civil disobedience. What? Parents are absolutely getting nowhere here, and kids are suffering big time. I agree with you. And what I would do is, if you have the means and the wherewithal, I'd relocate to a state where my kids could be in school in person. We were actually considering doing this. Now, I'm fortunate. I live in Tennessee. In our school district, my kids go to public school, kindergarten and fourth grade. My seventh grader is in school too. All of them are in person attending school, and they had been for the entire fall semester, and they're scheduled to go back for the spring semester next week. Now, if I lived in a state where my kids were not in school, and if I didn't have the resources to be able to put them in private school, because one of the big issues here is many private schools are attending in person while public schools are not, I would move. And we even considered this in my household because we have a place down in Florida, and Ron DeSantis has done a fabulous job of keeping the state of Florida open. And if we had to move to Florida for the semester and put my kids in school, we were going to do that because we didn't want them remote learning for an entire semester, as has happened. Now, I've been fired up about this for basically since March or April. There was never any justification to shut down schools. We now know that whatever basis there was predicated on the 1918 flu pandemic, which affected people of different ages, whereas this COVID is primarily an issue for people who are older and unhealthy already, the exact opposite of school-age children. So, we should have never shut down schools at all. All kids, like has been the case in Europe, should be in school right now, and there's no justification to still have them at home. With the vaccine rolling out, my hope is that we're going to be able to get nursing home residents, long-term care facilities, also teachers vaccinated so kids can get back in school sooner rather than later. But I would legitimately move. And if moving isn't an option, I would fight as aggressively as possible for schools to be reopened, because the people who are losing out the most, and I say this as a kid who went to public school, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, are the kids that don't have Wi-Fi at home, that don't have computers at home. The least advantaged among us are falling further behind, and the party that claims to care the most about equality, the Democratic Party, is ensuring the most unequal results and unfair results for young people in any of our lives. There's absolutely no justification for schools to still be closed. Open them up everywhere, and as many people are doing all over this country, if my schools weren't opening, I'd be looking to move, and I'd vote with my feet. This has been the Anonymous Mailbag. Get kids back in school now.